The Japanese tea ceremony is a Japanese tradition steeped in history. It is a ceremonial way of preparing and drinking green tea, typically in a traditional tea room. Beyond just serving and receiving tea, one of the main purposes of the tea ceremony is for guests to enjoy the hospitality of the host in an atmosphere distinct from the fast pace of everyday life. Today, we'll demonstrate a casual style of the Japanese tea ceremony called yurei, which uses a table and chair, as opposed to a tatami floor. Many of these steps are conducted simultaneously. The ceremony is very carefully timed. This demonstration shows the process from a few different perspectives. First, the teishu, who is the host who prepares the tea, brings in some sweets and places them in front of the guest with a bow. Today, our guest is enjoying a sakura mochi, which is a cherry blossom sweet rice cake made with sweet red bean paste and wrapped with a salt-pickled cherry leaf. The teishu will then return to tea preparations, and at the correct moment will say, "Okashi o dozo," which means, "Please enjoy your sweets." Before picking up the sweets tray, our guest prepares their kaishi paper and their sweet pick. They then bow to thank and show respect to the host and pick up the sweet, placing it on their kaishi paper. Picking up the kaishi paper and placing it in their left hand, they begin to eat the sweets using the sweet pick. Meanwhile, the teishu will now prepare the tea while the guests enjoy their sweets. She will bring in a tea bowl and tea container on a tray, as well as a wastewater container. She folds a silk napkin called a fukusa and starts purifying the tea container. Each utensil is meticulously examined and carefully cleaned in the mizuya, or preparation room. This process is done in front of the guest and is a symbol of the purification of the mind and a show of respect. She then refolds the fukusa and begins to purify the tea scoop by sliding it down to the end 3 times. The tea scoop is now placed next to the tea bowl, resting its handle on the rim of the tray. She then takes the chaseng, or tea whisk, and shaking, the linen napkin, out of the tea bowl. Now, she pours hot water into the tea bowl. She then takes the tea whisk in the tea bowl and brings it up into the air, rotating it 3 times to warm the tea bowl. Next, she discards the water into the waste container and wipes the tea bowl with a jakin, or linen napkin. She then picks up the chashaku, or tea scoop. It is at this time that she offers the sweets to the guest by saying,
お菓子をどうぞ.
Next, she then takes the tea container and opens the cover, scooping in 1.5 to 2 scoops of green tea powder. Gently tapping the rim of the tea bowl with the tea scoop, she removes the tea powder before closing the cover of the container. She then pours hot water and whisks the green tea with the tea whisk. When the tea is ready, the teishu picks up the tea bowl and turns it clockwise to make sure the most beautiful design on the bowl faces the guest as a sign of respect. Next, the hanto, who is the teishu's assistant, brings the tea in front of the guest. The tea bowl is placed with its front side facing the guest, followed by a bow. She then says, "Otomai chodai itashimasu," which means, "I will have tea you made." She then picks up the tea bowl with her right hand and places it on her left palm before bowing slightly with gratitude. With her right hand, she turns the bowl clockwise so that its front side is not facing her. She then drinks the tea in a few sips, making sure to make the light slurping sound at the end as a sign to show the host that the tea was so good that she finished it all. After finishing the tea, she wipes the edge that she drank from with her fingers. Rotating the bowl counterclockwise to bring the front side of the bowl facing her, she then looks at the bowl carefully to appreciate its design and texture. The assistant, hanto, then brings the tea bowl back to the teishu. Then the teishu pours hot water into the used tea bowl and discards it once more in the wastewater container. She bows and says,
おしまいにさせていただきます.
which means, "I will finish and clean the utensils." She pours hot water into the bowls again and rinses it with a tea whisk. She then pours the water into wastewater containers and puts the linen and the tea whisk back into the bowl. She uses the fukusa to purify the tea scoop before putting it in the bowl. She taps the fukusa above the wastewater container to dust off any green tea powder. She places the fukusa back on her kimono, and then picks up the wastewater container, followed by the tray, and brings them back to the mizuya, or preparing room. After putting away all the utensils, the teishu bows. This concludes the Japanese tea ceremony. Mark your calendars for next spring, 2023, when we hope you'll join us in person at Gary Point Park under the Hanami tent.